Carrying forward from my last studio update, I've been progressing pretty fluidly on closing out a few pieces I had started earlier in the summer, which was a particularly hectic stretch filled with school, the Hamptons Fine Art Fair, and just a lot of travel and movement. This fall has been a time to breathe, recalibrate, and move those pieces along, and it's actually been going really well. The first piece I finished was Eurydice. This one involved a lot of emotional heavy lifting at different stages. It explores the threshold between life and death, both literally and metaphorically, and the ways we linger in those in-between spaces. Some people have found it disturbing, others comforting, and I think that duality is exactly what it's meant to hold. It's tension and optimism intertwined in sort of a very convoluted way. Like most abstraction, there's no single right answer. It's all about the viewer's experience and how their own story transforms the painting's meaning. Next is Prometheus, a piece about claiming inner power and effectually rising from the ashes, overcoming oppression. I had to tap into a lot of intensity for this one. At one moment, I realized I was holding back, so I put on some Metallica, and that got me into the fiery zone I needed. Finishing it felt like a cathartic release, and one of those moments where the energy inside finally found its form. I also wrapped up a few smaller works. One of them is called Gnosis, which is a very texturally heavy piece. It actually has a storied history starting years ago as a bit of a more basic beach scene that was simple and semi-abstract, but I eventually went over it with a palette knife and completely transformed it. And when I returned to it recently, it took on this underwater energy, almost like being tangled in a coral reef right below the surface of the water and searching for that nearby surface light. It became a meditation on inner truth, which is why I named it Gnosis, after the Gnostic idea of inner truth and finding it within. Another piece, Pharmaca, had a similar evolution. It began as a textural study that I had left unfinished for a long time. And when I revisited it, I leaned into its entanglement, the weaving of the magical botanicals which the name references. And this brings me directly to Circe, which is a still unfinished piece, but it ties to the smaller piece Pharmaca. And the central thicket of Circe, which is still in progress, is directly coming from some of the studies I had done in its smaller counterpart. For me, Circe is about inner power and strength and solitude, and the kind that doesn't demand an audience, but radiates from within. I then also had this really small canvas I was working on as a commission for one of my best friends and her girlfriend. I nearly forgot to mention it, probably because it's such an intimate little piece compared to everything else. I'd been working on it slowly in between all of the larger paintings, and the other day I stepped back and thought, hey, I actually like where it ended up. It feels done to me, but I'm still thinking about what to call it. Separately, I have two other similarly oceanic pieces in progress. One is a commission, and the other feels like its counterpart. They're both evolving in their own rhythms, and I'm giving them space to unfold. Overall, I'm really enjoying this chapter of creation. Things have been moving more fluidly, and it feels like a turning point, like the next sequence of paintings will carry the growth from this period into something altogether new. And soon that'll happen in a new space as well. My studio renovations of my little studio are set to be completed by the end of the month. So I'm excited to see what that change of environment brings and how it reshapes my process and my sense of focus moving forward.